So we should be live. Yep. Just 1 second while I get this situated. Okay. One more second, you guys. Alrighty. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Raven Wolf channel. Another R&R show tonight. Ransom is going to join us in a little bit, but
Nah, I'm done pinching a loaf. I think I wiped it pretty good.
oh God. Hi, Ransom. That's a great way to start the show.
I'm just kidding anyway. Hola, hola, hola.
Hi, everybody. Let me get the chat here. 1 second. How's your weekend?
My weekend was wonderful. As I was saying, I just kind of got rid of some blockage. I'm feeling a little bit lighter in my life, freeing up some stuff, if you know what I mean.
Hi, Johan. Dessa Rose. Have you been? I haven't seen you. Hi, Max, James, Michael, Pyramid 7, Johan, everybody. Hello.
Hello.
I have Buddy back here.
The buddy.
He's 15 years old. So.
Oh, I remember being 15. Ooh la la.
Yeah, dog years. So he's really like super old.
Ooh la la.
But anyways, how you been? You said you've been good?
I've been very well.
Really?
Very well.
Okay.
Except for toothaches. Got a lot of toothaches. They blow. I don't like them.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I've been having really rough. I'm glad August is over. Like, I'm so glad. August was not very nice to me. Huh?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say August was not very nice to me, and the last 2 weeks were like one thing after another. Like my apartment AC broke in Houston in the like middle of summer. It's really hot all the time here.
Mine's cool. It's like a 80s model, central heat and air. So like it gets really hot and then it seizes up. So we have to go outside and dump a big bucket of water on the condenser and then like use a stick and make the fan go and then it'll catch on and maybe it won't pop the breaker. So it's awesome. But whenever it gets going, it finally cools off. So it's awesome.
And then I hit a car. Remember, thank God it wasn't.
I hit a car too. You see, you're following down my life path. I hit a car, then you hit a car.
I know, what the heck? And then what else happened? Oh yeah, I went to get my oil change and they messed up my oil pan, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, next time, look, this is just some advice from me to you. Next time you need your oil change, you call me. I know how to do it right.
Well, I don't want to take it to any place now because
I know that would be cheating at this point, wouldn't it?
I'm scared of them messing up with my car again, and of course nobody wanted to be responsible, but anyways, they end up fixing my car. Then my car check engine light was on and I had to do my inspection because I don't know, in your state, how does it work in your state?
No inspection.
Every year?
No inspection.
Well, here in Texas, you have to, it's every year. You pay for the inspection and your registration, and
paying that tax on that global warming is what that is.
So anyways, finally passed. I didn't have to repair it, and I don't know, just crazy things like that.
Yeah. Well, like I said, next time you need an inspection or to get your oil changed, you call this guy.
Okay, sounds.
I'll do it right.
That's funny.
Satisfaction guaranteed.
But yeah, I'm scared. I want to learn how to do it myself. But
I'm sure you know how to change your own oil by now.
Sure, whatever. So tonight we're gonna cover some. Johan said that that happened to her daughter. See, they suck. Don't take it to Jiffy Lube or.
Yeah, you don't want your lube jiffied. You need someone to take their time and make sure that they flush it in the correct way, where all the fluids come out right.
Okay, enough of the of that. Tonight we're gonna be
You don't like my
talking.
innuendos? Come on now.
No, tonight we're gonna be talking, and this is probably the last part of Cuatlicue. Is
But
part three.
way.
It's part three, and I told Ransom I wanted him to participate on this one because I know he has his own very opinions about the different images and all of that. So this is the part three and last part of Cuatlicue, and we're gonna talk about certain similarities with other cultures and also the structures themselves on the bottom of the statues or whatever, they have designs underneath them.
The designs.
So we're gonna be talking about that and showing pictures and all of that.
Don't you ever worry though? Like, I think it's good to mispronounce their names because you don't really know what these old world things are. Like, I'm just saying. Now, hear me out. You don't know really what they are. So whenever you pronounce their names, there's a lot of power to what they call logos, the word of God. So if you did know the words of creation or the words to unlock things, like say you just said "go at lique," and then you let her out of her fucking spot because you pronounced it right or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh shit! You cursed the world.
Well, in case if you guys haven't watched part one and part two, I strongly recommend it. Pretty
Go at
much
lique.
in part one, I talked I talked about how who was that deity, and in case if you don't know, here I'm gonna put a picture of her.
Do it! I dare you.
Hold on, and I'm gonna show a picture that I actually took when I went to the museum.
I double dog dare you to do
So
it.
those are my pictures. Okay, hold on, let me. And then,
Anna will do anything if you dare because Hermione astrology is a double dog. So if you double dog dare her, she has no choice.
oh my god, here, can you see that? What'd you see?
A frozen screen of me and you smiling weirdly. Okay,
Okay, what'd you
there
see?
we go. Now I see the Coatlicue.
So the deity that I'm talking about, and we're gonna be talking about, and this is part three, is Cuatlicue. So literally, her name is what's the name? Skirt. She
She's the snake skirts.
snake skirts. Yeah, her name is translated
Or
this
skirt of the snakes. She had a snake skirt, man. It was
snake
like
skirt,
go-go time with
snake
scales.
skirt or something. Snake the skirt, right?
Yeah, but they're just trying to say she had a snake skirt.
So, in part one, I talked about who she is, what
What?
does she represent, and pretty much she is the creator of. She's the mother of over 400 gods, including Quetzalcoatl, and
The patron mother god.
yes, and represents duality and how she can be the nurturing, giving life, but also the taker. So that was part one. Part two was the connection I made between the apparition of Lady of Guadalupe in Mexico and how really that's Cuatlicue. And what do you think about that, Ransom? Because you said you knew that, right?
Well, yeah, but the Christian church does that everywhere they go. But like we were talking about before the show, the Christian church aren't the only ones that do that. I mean, the Aztec rolled in, and this goddess that we're talking about is supposed to be an Aztec goddess, although that statue is a megalithic stone and was most likely there before the Aztecs even got there. But anyway, her daughter
She's 9 foot
supposedly got
tall.
all decapitated, and she's supposed to be connected with this Aztec myth. But then when they started excavating, they found out this stone, and the story goes back like 3 different temples long before the Aztecs ever got there. So they got there, they heard the story of Immaculate Conception, they took it for their own, so that the guy, I forgot, whatever his name is.
Huitzilopochtli,
So
the
that guy
sun
could be
god.
king. he had to make sure that the people knew he had the right to rule and he had the serpent bloodline. Otherwise, they wouldn't have accepted him. And then the Christians come along and use the Virgin Mary side of it with the mother, because the mother's immaculately conceived from the Space Brothers or whatever, drops a ball of feathers in her tummy, and she became pregnant with this deity that's represented, and he's just like Jesus, he's also the Son, and he's represented by the Son. But oddly, Jesus was a peacemaker. This guy was the God of
He's
war.
the God of war, yeah, exactly.
He was like
And
an
he came
opposite.
to, in the myth, he came to, to be, when Coatlicue gave birth, he was fully grown, and he actually fought the 400 brothers and sisters that his sister, the moon goddess, what's the name? Bells on her face, or what is it?
Yeah, that's what it's translated to literally. And the reason for that is every statue or representation of her always shows these little bells that she had on her face. That, by the way, look Minoan.
I'm gonna show a picture of that I actually took also at the
and I should have got it. I forgot to get it. We're gonna have to do it on a future program, but there's other programs you could watch it on. I think they mentioned that. Yeah, I think they mention it on Ancient Aliens, but they don't go into detail. But if you look at these people, these don't look like the Aztec right here. This wasn't made by the Aztec at all. I mean, look at it.
Do you see her bells in her face or whatever?
Yep.
That's.
See, doesn't that upset you a little bit, though, that they got this museum and they're telling you the story, but then when you walk in there, they have pieces that don't match the other pieces. Like when the Aztecs made stuff, they made their self look a certain way. And then there's older shit like that don't look like their shit. It's similar, but not really. And then I always trip. They just lump it all together like it's the same thing because they don't really want you to know human history.
Yeah. Well, before we go ahead and keep talking about this, you're right. And you actually made me think about it, because when I was doing research to do the second part, the second part of Coatlicue, I realized that there's something that is called a religious syncretism.
Yeah, synchronism.
And I didn't know what that was. And I mean, you're kind of right. You said that the Aztecs, they adopted that from the culture that made that.
Yeah, maybe even the Mayans did before them adopted it, because the Mayans weren't really known to make megalithic stuff either. It's always in their temples, but it's usually at the bottom, and the same with the Aztecs. So somebody was around, the Olmecs, maybe somebody else, but like I was saying, I think it has an old world connection, like pre-flood, because it seems like the Aztec knew where they were going. They were going to where the megalithic stones were. And if you know the history of the Aztec, they came from an island land. They lived on an island. Just like the story of Atlantis, it was covered in concentric rings. But there's some weird hieroglyphs or petroglyphs or whatever you want to call them that they put in the rock that's in Mexico City that are identical to Minoan symbols, but that's impossible supposedly to archaeologists because everybody knows the Minoans lived on an island in the Mediterranean, and their island got destroyed, and then they moved around and they became the Phoenicians and different people. So it seems like the Aztec knew that there was an old world city down in the Yucatan. I mean, like they knew it.
Do you think that was Atlantis, though?
Yeah, I'm saying whatever happened pre-Diluvian, all of those civilizations were in contact with each other on the different continents. And then afterwards, everybody was in shambles. They didn't have navies. I'm sure this big deluge destroyed all of their shit. So they had to start over, but they still had the knowledge, a little bit of the old world. So people like seem to migrate directly to those, like the Paracas people came from Europe, the Black Sea area. They went directly to where these weird megalithic stones are in Peru, and where the Incas built on top of that shit. The same story, like up north and south, it's the same story.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the Aztecs obviously did it too.
And you got to have a Virgin Mary, right? I mean,
Right. What was I gonna say? Oh, something about the
But
Aztec.
you know what's so funny about that too is the Virgin Mary. It's
What?
a copy of a super old world thing back to Nimrod, right? So it's like old world stories meet, and then they find the similarities, and then they make the new religion whatever the dominant new religion is. They just
Yeah.
you'll believe what we want you to believe.
So so yeah, I mean, and I came to the conclusion, and that because of the research that I've done, and I feel like all the Marian apparitions are fake, are
At least
made up,
contorted and twisted.
are made up. Yeah. But anyways, so let's talk a little bit about what's on the bottom of underneath at Coatlique's structure,
Okay.
and we can talk about that. And let me just find it. Um, where is it?
Looking for stuff on my computer.
Okay, I found it. Okay, so this is the bottom of Coatlique. And over here you can see part of the claws, right?
Yeah. And you know what's funny is she showed me this before the story. I mean, before this
Yeah.
the show. And I looked at it and I said, so that's obviously some kind of person that's giving birth to the universe there, because of the square space figure and the circle figure, you know, that you find everywhere with the cardinal directions. And sometimes it's a swastika or a star, a four-pointed star. But if you look at that one, it has geometric mathematical stuff in it. If you look at the corners of the square, it's got the Fibonacci sequence in it. They knew what right angles were. There's a mathematical format there, but on the outside, it looks like Shiva eating and giving birth to the universe at the same time. That's like a Hindu thing right there. And then tell us what the Aztecs said it was.
Childbirth or generation. Um, the deity shows a frontal view crouching with elbows nearly touching his knees. The date one rabbit, the year in which the earth was created. Ornament his head dress on beneath it, and we can make out encircled eyes and fanged mouth and prominent ear spools. Um, he grasped two skulls in his claw hand. Four more skulls are lashed in the elbows and knees, and he wears a necklace, miniature skull around his neck. You see that?
Yeah.
Hold on. It was something else. It envisions a terrible toad monster. It can be a her or a him, dismembered body that gave rise to the world in the Aztec creation myth of the fifth and final cosmos. Like many Aztec deities, this Tlatecuhtli seems to have both male and female forms. Yeah.
Whoa. They gave birth to the universe, in other words.
Yeah.
You want to see something? And this was under that big megalithic stone, correct?
That was, yes, under Coatlique, the two-headed serpent.
And it almost looks like that was made to put that stone on, like maybe it was part of it or had something to do with the same room.
And see, that's the thing that I don't, that
Looks like a Stargate.
it's interesting to me because I find out that not only Coatlique, but there's other sculptures like that are on the bottom.
Yep.
Designs, and to me makes me think, what was the purpose? Is it like a hidden message, a hidden?
Maybe
What
it's
is
like
it?
sigils. You see this right here?
No, the screen is still black.
Okay, well, we'll just give it a second here.
Okay.
Okay, so here's a diagram of the way it looked like kind of when they were started restoring it here. And this over here, this round stone that shows the daughter getting decapitated, was found layer after layer after layer under this. So this temple, the temple before that, the temple before that, the story was ongoing, way before the Aztecs got there. And this is kind of what I was talking about. Is you can see this building over here with these little blocks. This is definitely Aztec architecture. It has lava mud in it for a mortar, and lye and stuff like that, and really small stones. But if you look over here where the interesting stuff is, you see this megalithic stone down here sticking out of it at the bottom.
Where I don't even see your mouse. Oh, I see. Okay, yes.
Yeah, down here. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were all over, just like that two-headed snake thing that looks exactly like the symbol of Inky with the two snakes facing each other on the staff, which makes me think it was Inky's people. And you know what's really weird is I've been noticing they've been putting it on a lot of European marriage ceremonies, and they finally started putting this in Hollywood slowly. But I even saw it on Sabrina. They did it the right way for once, but they used rope in that too.
What?
People didn't used to get rings. They used to be bound with ropes. This was a common marriage ceremony thing all over the world in prehistoric times. But they didn't tie a rope around you. They put a snake skin around your wrist. And your wrist would form a thing like this, which if you look at it, it's two snakes facing each other, but it's also what we represent as the heart symbol, right? And this woman has hearts all over her, the snake woman with the two heads, right? Which is, what does the heart do? It pumps blood. It's the representation of our core life force of blood. And the snakes always have, the intermingled snakes like that have always represented DNA. It's a double helix. There's a lot of information in the statue. And this is one of these megalithic blocks that they found in the Aztec temples.
Yes.
I doubt seriously that they made it. However, they might have, put additions on it and added their own artwork to it.
She's 9 foot tall and 2 tons. It weighs 2 tons.
And you know that picture you were showing of the cheeks, the bells on cheeks chick? That shit looked like it was computer ground out. It looks like laser cutting. Look at that.
What's underneath the what is it? Bell's face, or what is it called?
Yeah, bells on cheeks.
Bells on cheeks.
Yeah.
So what is it? Let's see. I see snakes right away. A snake, right?
Yeah, well, all of these families represent. Remember, we were talking about the other thing the other day when I forgot the name of the city that they found in Guatemala, and they were talking about how the new family moved in, and they were all the serpent kings. Remember? And we looked at the little representations of the people back then, and they were tall, human-looking people with bird hats, and then there were these short, fat, weird-looking people that already lived there.
Yeah. Here, let's see. Let me see what that.
They were all serpent kings too. They even put this out in that what's that show with the vampires, but they changed it over to snakes.
Oh yes.
Dusk Till Dawn stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so this one, it says, is in the center is the Aztec myth of Coyohualqui, which I know I'm saying it right, that was defeated by her brother Huitzilopochtli, and her attack and defeat at the mythical model of human war. The carving underneath the gemstone sculpture shows that this is not just bust of the goddess, but her severed head, and claims that the future war flows from its primal conflict and will end the same way as the enemies of the Aztecs.
Oh yeah, and I wanted to show here, and we'll show everybody kind of the sister here.
Oh, yeah.
That they're talking about. She's all cut up.
Yeah, because the brother, when Coatlicue gave birth, the god of war came out with Huitzilopochtli and killed all the 400 brothers and sisters, and explain what he did to his sister.
So, well, check it out. This is her stone right here. This is the one that there's several versions of. Here, let me full screen
That's Coyohualqui. Shauki.
Anyway, so you can see that her arms are decapitated. They got bones sticking out, and her head's decapitated and all of this. But you want to see what's really weird about this is this woman, if you look at her body and what she has on her, this looks like they were killing off the female goddess right here. If you see the fans, look, you see Liberty here, bells on cheeks. It's like Liberty, like Columbia. The
Yeah.
other ones, and if you look, she has a rope, and I think one of her hands has the serpent in it and stuff. But then I want to show you this. This is the temple that all this bad shit went down. Is the Twin Towers. All this whole story happened in this Twin Tower thing, and they decapitated her. And what's really weird about this is it's a son and a mother thing. Right? This side's the mother, this side's the son, and down here's the sister that they decapitated. And this story goes back layer upon layer, but isn't it weird that they had two towers and those two towers collapsed, and it collapsed in front of the Columbia figure, just like in New York?
See, I didn't even know that part. So I'm glad that, see, I knew I had to bring you into this conversation because you will bring some points where I wouldn't even knew about it or thought about it. And yeah, that's very interesting. There's the Twin Towers, and yeah, they both came down.
And guess what happened right then? That was the start of what they really consider the Aztec empire that lasted for a while, where they controlled stuff. So even back then, the eagle culture came and killed the snake culture, and they announced a new world order there when the two towers fell.
Yeah.
And they rebuilt them.
That's
just
trippy.
like they did now, but they call it One World Tower now.
That is crazy. So another one that, and see, like you were saying, the pictures of those, of some of the sculpture underneath, they look like they're printed.
Yeah, they look like somebody used a CNC machine on them. They don't look like people with copper tools and you know, chicken bones carve this shit out.
Here's another one.
And besides that, you know that the Aztec were in possession all over Mexico City. You might have saw them or you didn't. They were in the museum. You went down there. They were what do you call them? Obsidian artifacts, right? But they were more than just artifacts. Bowls, like really one piece of obsidian into a bowl, and it's completely smooth, like they use some kind of lathe machine to carve it out perfectly. And you know how obsidian's like glass, it breaks. So they know that the Aztec didn't make that shit. They found it, and the same thing's happening over in Egypt. In their tombs, they find shit that doesn't belong there. Like, well, I forgot what his name is. They found a steel thing, and the people of that age weren't supposed to even know what steel was, but yet he had a steel dagger in his tomb.
No.
And they had cocaine, which meant they were talking to these Aztec and Mayan guys over here before the flood.
Yeah. That's and one thing that you were saying earlier when you were talking about the Phoenicians and stuff, to me that resonates a lot because I resonate with a lot of the Phoenician stuff, and the fact that I'm so attracted to like the Mayan and the Aztec stuff, I feel like there's a connection there.
Oh, and then there's the weird thing of the Toltec, right?
What?
They were people. They were living in the area as well, and the depictions of them have the weird hats and stuff. They also look like Phoenicians, right? But they look like, it seemed like there was a little war there between old tribes from the Minoan culture, like people that had left Minoan and people that were there now. And you know, like remember we were talking about the mass graves there next to that pyramid? There's like thousands of people that were massacred, Toltec people. Yeah. And that was done by the Christians. The Christians eradicated the rest of those people in a mass grave there, right at the same site that the Aztec were murdering people, that the Mayans were murdering people. So there's something about that spot that no matter which culture came, they started doing blood worship and blood sacrifice, decapitation, all of that weird shit. There's even pictures of them grabbing the babies out of the wombs. And then you can see that same artwork over in Babylonia and the Sumerian stuff. And then you got the bowl down there. I forgot what the name of it is. That's a little bit south of all these guys that has cuneiform on it. So there's all these old world connections.
What do
And
you
nobody
think
knows who
about
these
this?
guys are.
These guys.
I was always wondering if those are like some kind of giant catapult ball.
I know you mentioned that before, and I like that idea.
Like maybe the spaceship just flew up and knocked their pyramid over with these things. And they left their face on it, so everybody knew which guy fucking knocked over that pyramid. You know, like they can come back later and be like, see, I told you I'm the one that got this one. This is my head. Nobody explains those things, right, though? But that's really not a good theory because most of those heads are found by themselves out in the middle of the jungle. Like I think they were actually road map posts is what they were.
I have another picture of those.
Like I think you walked through the jungle and you thought, yep, okay, I'm going the right way. There's just another one of these giant heads, so I just keep going south, and eventually I'll be, somewhere. There you are. Look at that. You're touching something that's probably older than all of the civilizations named in South America.
And you know what? When I touch it, like behind this, there's cars, there's like a road. And when I touch it, I could feel the vibration of the cars passing by. It was weird. I could feel like a vibration on the stone.
Yeah, and then a weird thing.
Like it was hollow, actually. I don't know. It felt weird.
Yeah, and another weird thing is that head right there. It appears to have like probably a metal or leather helmet on, which none of the civilizations over here in the Americas were known to wear helmets like that. But there's shitloads of old world civilizations from the Middle East and Africa that did wear helmets like that.
Yeah. And also they have the Atlantean warrior there.
Yeah, but they kind of just named it that. Yeah. The guy that found them, they just named it that. It has nothing to do, referencing Atlantis, but they just called it that.
Yeah.
And those probably weren't built by Aztecs either. Those look like megalithic things as well.
Yeah, you want to see a picture of it? Because I also took a picture.
Yeah, they're the guys with the little miniature crossbows, which is also either, as far as we know, that was only in Europe, the Middle East, or China area. So for people in South America to have crossbows, there's another key that everybody was talking.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I did something. I don't know how to fix my screen.
That's what they say in court every time. The judge never believes it.
What?
That you didn't mean to do it. Sure. I didn't do it. I promise. Here, I gotta go.
Share it, but I can't share it. I don't know how to do it.
Share it.
I don't know how.
It's 4:20 TV break time.
Okay, let me see. I need to do a 360. Okay. Nope. Sorry, you guys. Give me a second. I'm trying to share the video. I wonder if okay.
The Raven Wolf channel is sharing all of her valuable information. We see a bunch of pictures.
What do you see?
A bunch of pictures.
You don't see a video?
We're seeing a bunch of pictures.
Damn it.
Would you like me to do some news while you sort out your...
No, I'm good. I'm good. But anyways, so we have this is kind of like a short R&R show, but that's all I really wanted to just share with you guys, that how weird is the stuff under the sculptures, because I feel like they had a purpose to it,
Oh, they did. I'm sure they did.
I don't know what the purpose was, but I feel like they did, because
excuse me,
maybe they were elevated and you could see underneath. I don't know. Who knows?
No, I think they just came and they built on shit over and over again. They just kept building on it. And then that's weird that they copied some of the same artwork, though. Like they kept the story alive. Whatever that was really, really fucking important to the original people.
You froze.
Hello? What?
You froze for a minute.
No, you froze.
Okay. We're having technical difficulties.
Hey, did you guys know that You know that comedian Kevin Hart guy? He got all fucked up.
What?
They crashed his sports car, man. He's all jacked up.
Really? I didn't know
A
that.
little short, funny dude.
Yeah, I know who, but I didn't know that happened to him. That's so.
Yeah, that happened last night. I
Damn.
wonder if he's gonna. I hope not. But yeah, that's messed up. He let someone else drive his car.
Mm.
You know what I was thinking? They said there was 2 other passengers. They're both girls, and I was wondering because it didn't say in the article, but it didn't seem to be his wife was with the 3 people that crashed. So, like his wife's probably at home and she went to the hospital and she's crying. She's like, my man's gonna die, but that motherfucker was with some bitches. Right? She's probably wanting to stab him. But one of them's really fucked up like he is, the driver, and then I guess the passenger in the back seat lived and is okay. So whoever that is, gets to tell the story because everybody else is fucked up. So, and then I was watching TMZ and they cut this 1 second piece of video that shows Kevin Hart peeling out his car and some guy going, hey, calm down, like that. And then they keep repeating it over and over and over again, insinuating that he liked to fuck around with his car, but he wasn't even driving. So why are they trying to give you that mind fuck? He wasn't even driving the car, but they're trying to mind fuck you in the article.
Because it's TV. That's why.
Well, I think it's weird that he was the guy that said the bad tweets and refused to apologize about it. And Hollywood turned against him. And then, why is it always that the people that seem to be like the unique people in Hollywood always are the ones that OD or get in a car crash or hang themselves or whatever? Is there a pattern to that?
I don't know. But do you have anything else to add about the theme of the night of the show?
No, I think it's pretty cool, though. But don't worry, the same thing's about to happen soon. And what's going to happen is something like Sophia will give birth to the sun, the artificial AI sun. And you can go over to the AI church and worship the sun of God, the AI God that they created.
Say no to the AI God.
Before long, I'm sure they'll have the kids thinking because they're putting implants in everybody, especially like they're going after autistic kids, which is weird because we all know that autistic kids are increasing in numbers every year. So that means if they're going to start putting chips and it becomes like, everyday thing, and then it becomes mandatory for your health care, then all of these kids, like 1 and 2 kids, will have a chip in their head. And guess what church they're going to go to?
AI church.
I don't think they'll have a choice. It'll be a voice in their head at all times telling them things. Talk about the
mark of the beast, right?
It's more than that. It's the voice of the beast in your head.
That's creepy.
The beast spying on every thought you have in your head.
Yeah, that's creepy. But
think while it's still legal.
What was I gonna say? You're gonna have some 420 news later, right? On your channel.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So if you guys don't wanna.
Yeah, if you're still awake for late night, it'll be on in shortly. It's taking a long time to upload. And
wow, Top Knot. He just gave $100.
OMG, man.
Meet me in Pagosa next weekend. Yeah. I wish. I can't leave. We can't.
You got a frog in your pocket?
Anyways, with that said, thank you for watching the R&R show. And
adios.
We'll see you next time. And
got the hay.
Top Knot. Peace, everybody.